You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine Combat veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 687.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
Get your free inventor's information. Call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My name is Jessie. I'm a United States Special Forces widow. This gives me a unique perspective on the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View.
All right, how y'all doing out there today? It's Jessie. You know I miss you when we're not talking. Come on, you've got to buy that by now. Yeah, you've got to. It's just the rules around here, kids. Now, I apologize for missing last night. I had something come up. I didn't even have time to shoot out a tweet or drop a replay. It was chaos. Now, as always, and I say this every show, I thank you. I don't say this every show, but thank you to all my listeners. I need to remember to start saying that a little more often. And also, thank you to all of my new Twitter followers. Yes, thank you. I wouldn't be here without you guys. Nope, not a chance. Now, I got the show prep, but I gotta talk about a couple things first. I may have to drop a couple of best ofs. I got some stuff going on that may keep me away from you guys for a few days. Thursday night will probably be a best of. Hopefully Friday will not. So, like I said, there has been a lot going on. And I do my best to bring it all to you. And I'm actually chasing something that just came across my feed not 5 minutes ago. Now, how can you interact with me while I'm on the air? Well, you can follow that link I tweet out every time and make a comment over on Spreaker, which that does require a Spreaker account, but it's free. Or tonight, I made it. I'm in the KLRN Radio chat room. Yes, I know there are days I don't make it. What can I say? There are days I don't make it over there, but I do my darndest. Now, anyway, the other way, I'm on Twitter at Jessies POV, and yes, my Twitter is up, just the notifications tab. So if you got something to say to me while I'm on the air, Major Payne. Yeah, and Major Payne, I'm going to call you out. I haven't gotten that email from you yet. Still waiting. So, alright. Now, the other way, say you listen via Memorex and you still want to give me comments and feedback, please do. You can email me at the station at Jessies POV at KLRNRadio. Now, I'm going to see if I can find somebody to cover Thursday night's show. I haven't even talked to them yet, but we're going to see what we can do. All right. Moving right along. Some of you may have heard that there was a new show launching Wednesday. Well, it kind of had to be pushed back a week because the host, Dan Wright, has laryngitis. Yes, Dan is launching his own show. He has laryngitis. Well, when it's a one-host show and somebody gets laryngitis, it kind of just is what it is, darling. So, and as it's a new show, we are not going to drop that on anybody else. All right. Moving right along. Yes, you heard my show prep. Let's do it again. Here's the show prep. Yes, I've got it for you. Don't I always? Don't I always? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Now, there's also, of course, plenty going on in the Middle East. You guys know, I could do a whole show on Mosul, Raqqa, Syria, and all that. I could also do a whole show on North Korea. Neither of those would take me more than 10 minutes to prep for. I do try and stretch myself just a little bit and branch out. No, those aren't the only things I cover. So now, I hit the military stuff pretty hard. And Secretary of Defense Mattis, this is huge. And yes, it came out yesterday when I was off the air. So guess what? I'm a day late this time. Secretary of Defense James Mattis pledged to confront Russia over allegations Moscow has been funneling weapons to the Taliban. Oh, yes. No, I'm not kidding. Wish I was. Wish I might have the wish I wish tonight. Well, I know what I'd wish for. So, I know I may not share it, but you can probably guess I'd like to talk myself out of a job. I really would, or at least have more fun stuff to cover. 'Cause trust me, folks, I love it. I love what I do. But there's times. Oh yeah, there's a time or two. It just gets old. Trust me. I love doing what I do. But I'm not always, I'd like to have some more happy stories. Now, I always try and find a few. I always try. So, can't always guarantee it, but I do sure try. Now, I am actually looking for an old audio clip, and I'm digging through stuff you guys haven't seen or heard in absolute ages. So, this is going to be interesting if I can find it. I can't promise anything, but we're going to sniff around a little and see what we trip over, okay? Okay. So, moving right along. Mattis. Yes, back to Mattis and the funneling weapons to the Taliban. Taliban fighters have made major gains in Helmand province. Now, if you remember Helmand province, it was one that we lost a lot of blood there. And I will say it was mostly our Marines, but not always. And I don't want to see it become the Wild Wild West. I don't know how else to put it, folks. I really don't. But that's the way it goes. So who knows? It's going to be interesting to find out. Now, also, while we're talking Russia. Oh yes, Russia. Come on. They're just absolutely a little bit wonky. We already know this. Russia is, well, I'll call them a frenemy. Of course, we pushed for new sanctions against South Sudan in the UN. And guess what? Russia said no. U.S. Ambassador Nikki Haley is urging the UN Security Council to impose an arms embargo and additional sanctions on South Sudan to pressure the parties to end the civil war. Russia and China remain opposed. And Russia, as you all know, for regular listeners to this show, it's a permanent member, so it has veto power. Now, I'm not going to go into the Trump administration Russia things. I'm going to leave that to the people that cover it. That's the decision I've made. But there has been an Al-Qaeda-linked group claiming responsibility for the Russia metro attack. A group of suspects linked to Al-Qaeda has claimed responsibility for this month's metro bombing in the Russian city of St. Petersburg. Yes, and this was put out by the U.S. Monitor's Site Intelligence Group. On Tuesday, alleged suicide bomber Akraban Digilov, a Russian national born in Kazakhstan, killed 15 people and wounded another 24 on the April 3rd blast that ripped through the underground train. The Imam Shamil Battalion said it carried out the attack under the orders of Al-Qaeda leader Imam al-Zawahiri. Oh yes. Oh yes. The message was sent, the bombing served as a message to Russia, basically, and other countries engaged in quote-unquote war with Muslims. The price of war is going to be expensive. Okay, now Russia, of course, has upped security, and the Muslims say, so? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But I got to admit, folks, I'd like to move this audio sound effect off my board, because I certainly don't want to hear this or read about it coming across my news feed. I could deal with more of this. Make it a little harder for my show, but be a lot more peaceful, and I could bring you a lot more kitties, puppies, and fluffy news stories. So, in a move that just further drives me crazy, Russia is going to supply power to rebel-held parts of eastern Ukraine. Now, what are we talking about here? The Ukrainian government cut off the power to the entire eastern area, to the separatist-controlled areas in eastern Ukraine because of millions in unpaid bills. So, of course, the separatists, come on folks, they don't wear Russian military uniforms, but they are. Let's just get over that fact. And Russia said, we'll cut it off. We'll supply it. Cutting the power to the Luhansk region is yet another step by Ukraine to push those territories away, Petrov told reporters in Moscow, saying the move contradicts the spirit of the peace accords that Kiev and the rebels signed in Minsk. Yeah, well, no offense, guys, you don't pay your electric bill, they have the right to cut you off. Despite 3 years of fighting in eastern Ukraine that has killed more than 9,900 people, the trade, water, and power supply crossing the front line never fully stopped. Many local factories and coal mines in this industrial heartland, situated on different sides of the conflict, are interdependent, and a rupture in the supply lines could cause a complete industrial breakdown. Yep, a complete industrial breakdown. So the decision on the electricity falls into the trend of Ukraine shutting off Luhansk, Donetsk, and Donetsk shutting off Ukraine and moving closer to Russia. The Minsk agreements are not working. Let's just be blunt here, kids. The Minsk agreements are just about as bad as Congress or a train wreck. So, and we're not talking $1 million, okay? We're talking $431 million in unpaid debt for power supplies. And they weren't worried about it because they expected Russia to step in, and Russia did. And Russia has in fact been propping up Donetsk and Luhansk separatists since the conflict began in April 2014, although of course the Kremlin denies sending troops or weapons. The war began after Russia annexed Crimea's peninsula in the Black Sea, securing its large naval base there, folks. That is the one base that was within Russia's control up until, well, Ukraine started to get big and want to take control of its own land that actually didn't freeze up in the middle of winter. So, now, that's not the only thing going on. We're going to go from a country that has electricity, but they're changing suppliers, to one that, well, they have electricity, sort of, kind of, and in certain areas. So, and that is North Korea. 58-year-old Kim was teaching at the accounting at the Pyongyang University of Science and Technology, a private university funded mostly by Western-based evangelical Christian groups that educates the children of the country's elite. Kim was arrested when he was leaving the country. And United States Ambassador to the U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, said Kim's arrest is an attempt by the flailing Kim Jong-un government to gain some leverage to deal with the United States over its nuclear missile programs. In other words, they wanted to collect more poker chips to put in this game. The Swedish embassy in Pyongyang confirmed Kim's arrest, but North Korea has not publicly charged him. So, Nicholas Burns, the former Undersecretary of State, said the North Koreans have a history of taking American citizens hostage, detaining them illegally and without any rationale. Guys, I've said this once, I've said this twice, I probably say it every time I bring up tourism to Pyongyang. Don't. Just don't. Don't. It's not even the good idea fairy. It is just out and out a bad idea. Would I love to see Pyongyang? Yes. Am I ever going to go under this regime, under the Kim family? Absolutely not. Unless my safety can be guaranteed, which, as an American, I'm not taking that chance. Now, of course, last year, North Korea arrested Otto Warmberg just days before conducting its fourth nuclear test. The U.S. college student was sentenced to 15 years of hard labor. Now, he did try and steal a political banner from his hotel. And it also has another American missionary, Kim Dong-chul, who got 10 years of hard labor. So this makes 3. LA said the U.S. will work on securing the release of the Americans being held in North Korea, but was vague as to what course of action Washington might pursue. Previous American detainees had been released after a few months following various visits from various high-profile Americans, including former Presidents Bill Clinton, Jimmy Carter, sitting cabinet officials, who knows. However, since the 4th nuclear test in January, no one's been willing to budge. Obama didn't. And I don't think Trump is backing down either. So, who knows what's going to happen? But, I gotta say, just don't go to North Korea, kids. And then we won't have these problems. That's the short and simple version of it. Alright, I've got more on North Korea. I've got all kinds of stuff coming up. And yes, I know, we're coming up on the bottom of the hour. Yes. And so in just a couple minutes, I'm going to take, in fact, you know what? I'm going to take that commercial break now. Because I'm trying to get into a little bit better of a habit. Getting off the air just a couple of minutes early for those that are coming behind me. And because there's going to be some changes coming to the station, and I've had a sneak peek. But I can't let the cat out of the bag. Not yet. Not yet. So I can't let the cat out of the bag, and hopefully it'll bring a better listening experience for you guys. Okay? Okay. All right. On that note, I am going to take my commercial break, and I will see you on the other side. As a reminder, you can always find me on Twitter at Jessies POV, and you can always shoot me an email at the station, jessiespov at KLRNRadio.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine combat veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 8687.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
And I am back and live here on KLRN Radio, and thank you for hanging in there with me over that commercial break. I know nobody likes to do it, but we always got to pay them bills. Pay them bills. It has to happen. So, like I said, from a country that is supplying power to someone else that was cut off, to a country that has selective areas powered, we're going to North Korea. Now, like I said, folks, just don't even go there as a tourist. No, 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 no. I'm not even sure I would do it as a journalist, although journalists seem to be a little bit safer. Just while you're there, you follow the party line and propaganda, and you swallow it for a few hours or a few days. Now, there's a lot going on in North Korea, more than I actually have time to cover on this show. And you guys know North Korea's been saber rattling. Oh boy, are they ever. So, Washington and Pyongyang have been ratcheting up pressure on each other in recent weeks, with the United States sending an aircraft carrier group and a nuclear submarine to the region, and North Korea attempting more missile launches in defiance of the UN. North Korea said on Wednesday Kim Jong-un had supervised the country's largest ever live fire drills to mark the 85th founding anniversary of its military. More than 300 large-caliber self-propelled artillery guns demonstrating their firepower at an event on its east coast. Oh yes. The firing drill came instead of a nuclear test or launch of a long-range missile as feared amid pressure from the United States and China. Now, of course, we know, pull out your scorecard, China is North Korea's big brother and their only regional ally. So the United States and South Korea have agreed to deploy THAAD, Terminal High Altitude Area Defense, THAAD, in South Korea. But of course China goes, no, that's spying on us. No, it's not, guys. It's defensive. And it's going to be moved on to what had been a golf course in the county of Seongju in the country's southern region. Yes. South Korea and the United States have been working diligently to secure an early operational capability of the THAAD system in response to the North's advancing nuclear and missile threat. The U.S. and South Korean militaries have been reluctant to publicly discuss the progress of the deployment as candidates in the May 9th presidential election debate whether the move should go ahead or be delayed until after the vote. However, there was South Korean television footage showing military trailers carrying large units, including what appeared to be launch canisters, driven onto the planned THAAD battery site about 250 kilometers, 155 miles south of Seoul. And, of course, local protesters always have to get in the way somewhere. We're not the only country with protesters. Not all South Koreans are happy we're there. There is a direct correlation. Those who lived through the Korean War are happy we're there. The younger generation isn't so sure. Now, personally, I think if we actually pulled everybody out, they'd get a huge taste of, uh-oh, we goofed. But, unfortunately, that's not going to happen. We do tend to keep our promises. So, our treaty does make sure that we will defend South Korea. And this country, this administration in particular, is not backing off. So, like I said, North Korea, don't go there. And, well, I got a couple audio clips about them from an Asian Pacific conference that happened in the Senate this week.
Between 1994 and 2008, North Korea did 16 ballistic missile tests and 1 nuclear test. Since January of 2009, they have done 71 missile tests, including 4 nuclear tests. The leader in North Korea has made no effort to have dialogue with any other country in the region, not just the United States, but that includes China, South Korea, Russia. Absolutely no interest in talking.
Nope, Kim Jong-un doesn't want to talk it out. Let's listen to just another brief audio clip from that same speaker.
The North Korean threat provides opportunity for closer coordination of policy between the next government in South Korea, which will be elected May 9th, and Washington. New South Korean government cannot afford ideological indulgences in a renewed engagement or sunshine policy. It would be unwise, for example, for a new South Korean president on May 10th, presumably in the aftermath of more North Korean provocations and possibly a 6th nuclear test, to declare that he or she is reopening the Kaesong industrial complex. This would only serve to further marginalize South Korea's strategic position, as the new government would lose step with the United States, Japan, and even China.
All right, now what is the Kaesong Industrial Complex? For a period of time under a different administration in South Korea, yes, politics and policies change there just as they change here, kids. There was a joint North-South Korea industrial complex. It was in the DMZ. Raw materials were sent in from the South, and mostly South Korean, but some North Korean companies would make products. And North Korea, South supplied the management, North Korea supplied the labor. And this was in operation for a number of years. In fact, it was an operation when yours truly visited the DMZ. And one of the products, and yes, your host is one of those crazy smokers, I picked up 2 products when I was there, and I still have one. I have a North Korean bottle of plum wine, haven't opened it yet, but I also picked up a couple packs of North Korean cigarettes, just out of amusement. As a smoker, it's something I do everywhere I visit, and yes, I don't need to know that smoking is bad for my health. It's my choice. I have the freedom to make that choice. Guess what? Cope. It's my choice to light up. I don't want to hear about it. It's not your choice. I'm a very considerate smoker. I don't smoke in my house. I don't smoke around anybody under the age of 18, and I don't smoke around anyone who's pregnant. So take a deep breath, folks. Okay? Okay. Moving right along. The Kaesong Industrial Complex I used to think was going to be the way forward. But unfortunately, it has long since been shuttered. And now we're at a point where we've got 25 years worth of failed policy we're building our platform on. I don't get it. And neither does the next audio clip I have for you. This is another speaker, Aaron Friedberg. I didn't catch the first one's title. This one was former he worked with former Vice President Cheney. I don't recall the details, but he worked with Cheney for a while. Let's take a listen. And this is how Asia views us.
The Chinese are now pushing across much of Asia, in which we're portrayed as internally divided, as unable to solve our domestic problems, as inward turning, unreliable, and potentially dangerous, while China presents itself as the wave of the future, economically dynamic, efficient, unthreatening, non-judgmental, loaded with cash, and eager to do business.
Yeah, pretty disparaging. Let's take a listen, and I hope I've got this queued up properly, because this one's not prepped, kids, on some of the other things he had to say.
In the economic domain, if we don't want others to be drawn increasingly into a kind of Chinese co-prosperity sphere, we need to provide them with the greatest possible opportunity to remain engaged in mutually beneficial trade and investment with us and with one another.
Okay, that's not the audio clip I was looking for. Give me just a second, kids. We're going to take just another shot at it.
If an Asia whole and free is out of reach, at least for now, and if a region reshaped according to Beijing's vision would be threatening to our interests and to our values, as I think it would be, how should we define our strategic goals? Now, part of the answer here, I think, is likely to be that we'll need to rededicate ourselves to defending those parts of the Asian regional system that remain open and liberal, including our allies, the rules with which they abide, and the commons that connects them. It's sometimes said that in order to accommodate China's rising power and avoid conflict, we will need to compromise, and that's certainly true. But there's some issues where it will not be possible to split the difference, and we need to be clear about what those are.
I like this guy's take. I haven't had a chance to listen to all of his testimony, but trust me, I will get to more of it. And he is the one that said we are basing our North Korean strategy on a failed policy from 25 years ago, on the fumes of one.
A serious effort along these lines would look at all the various instruments of power, the various aspects of our policy, which I think now are largely fragmented and dealt with separately, and consider the ways in which they might be better integrated. And it would also weigh the possible costs and benefits and risks of alternative strategies. And a useful model here would be the so-called...
We don't need to hear the definition of his useful model.
To my knowledge, in the last 25 years, there has been no such exercise regarding our policies towards Asia and towards China. So we are effectively running on the fumes of a strategy that was put into place a quarter century ago.
There we go. We are effectively running on the fumes of a strategy put into place a quarter century ago. Now, you know, kids, I call a spade a spade. And if this is true that we are basing our current actions in the Asia-Pacific region on a strategy from a quarter century ago, then something needs to change, kids. Something needs to change. So, I don't know how else to put it. What else to say? Now, I am almost at the bottom of my show. I've got a lot more news show prep to get to. But we're going to just take just a moment. So, all right, folks, I have been absolutely bombarded with a couple of chats from station work. Sorry. I have been running in circles. Absolutely running in circles. Sorry about that. Let's get to this show prep. There are news. Remember who North Korea's big brother is. We're just going to take these in the order they're stacked in, so we're going to bounce all over the globe. Recent developments surrounding the South China Sea. Philippine Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzo, the military chief of staff, General Eduardo Ano, flew to this island of Pagasa in the South China Sea Saturday, drawing a protest from China, which also claims the remote territory. The Philippine government reiterated its claim to the island, where Filipino troops and villagers have lived for decades in a tiny community amid islands claimed by multiple countries. The public argument came amid a thaw in once frosty relations between the neighbors after Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte took office last June. Duterte has moved to rekindle Manila's friendship with Beijing. Why? He wants their money. He wants them to invest in state-sponsored railways and much other infrastructure-related projects. So, China claims virtually the entire South China Sea and has aggressively tried to fortify its stronghold by its own version of real-world Minecraft, building islands where there were none. Alright. Staying in the Asia-Pacific region, I am trying to sort these a little bit, so we're not going from Asia-Pacific over to Israel, but I do have an Israeli story. U.S. military bases in South Korea and Japan are forging ahead with planned relocations. But in Japan's Okinawa Prefecture, a new U.S. base on the island is being met with local opposition. The relocation in Japan has been a work in progress since 1996. And the U.S. and Japan had agreed on a relocation facility in the Henoko area in Okinawa. It would be the only solution to problems with the current U.S. air station Futenma, Kyoto. But 100 protesters gathered outside the U.S. Marine Corps Camp Schwab on Tuesday to express disapproval of their government's decision. As landfill work began inside seawalls, the coastal area of Nago, demonstrators came, some of who showed up in canoes and called the work illegal. They should not make Okinawa shoulder the burden of hosting U.S. bases anymore. The governor of Okinawa said he would be looking into blocking the construction by filing a lawsuit. Tokyo's chief cabinet secretary Yoshida Suga said the move would be good because it would mean the return of the U.S. airfield location to Futenma to Japanese hands. In South Korea, the South Korean military generals gathered to hold a ceremony for the planned relocation of the 8th Army from its base in Yongsan to Camp Humphreys in Pyeongtaek, a city south of the capital. So, we are moving forces around in the region. So, it's going to be interesting to see how all that shakes out. And if you don't know, there was a port call by the USS Michigan, which is designed to carry ballistic missiles, approximately 154 Tomahawks. Thank you very much. And it's also has land attack capabilities, and it's also designed to carry something even more special and near and dear to my heart. U.S. Special Forces troops. So, now, everyone said, oh, this is routine. Yeah, in this heightened tensions, nothing is routine, kids. Nothing is routine. So, U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson will chair a ministerial meeting of the Security Council this Friday to discuss tougher sanctions, which U.S. officials say could include oil embargo, banning North Korea's airlines, intercepting cargo ships, and punishing Chinese and other foreign banks doing business with Pyongyang. So like I said, there's nothing normal about relations in the Korea. Now, U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham and his fellow Republican John McCain had dinner with Trump on Monday and discussed North Korea. Graham told reporters he was impressed by Trump's resolve. He's not going to let this quote-unquote nut job in North Korea. We haven't used his sound effect all show. Quackers! He's not going to let quackers develop a missile with a nuclear weapon atop it to hit America. Trump doesn't want war any more than Graham does, but he's not going to let them get a missile. So, what can I say, kids? What can I say? This is going to be interesting. Alright, so, and of course, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe is expected to meet Russian Prime Minister Vladimir Putin April 27th. No elaborations were made. China's North Korea's sole major ally, which nevertheless objects to its weapons development, has repeatedly called for calm. And its envoy for Korean affairs, Wu Dawei, was in Tokyo on Tuesday. So, who knows? Now, of course, North Korea's foreign minister said the meetings called by U.S. officials reflected U.S. pressure that could ignite a full-out war, and proves that Pyongyang's decision to become a nuclear power is the correct way forward. This isn't going to end for a while. Alright. Just trying to pick out the last couple shows. Last couple articles for this show tonight, folks. I already know what I'm ending on. So, and you usually know if I'm ending on taps. Come on, you'd have known by now. Unless something has changed. Nope. I just checked the site. No new notifications from defense.gov on casualties. Alright, we're going to end the show. I've got 2 stories, which I found fascinating. Gas prices in North Korea increase 83%. Gas prices in Pyongyang have shot up at least 83% in the past few days. Foreign residents of the city confirmed this following months of otherwise sustained petroleum product pricing in the North Korean capital. The price spiking, which is impacting petroleum and diesel fuel sales equally, comes following rumors China has been considering a halt of all crude sales to the DPRK. So, yes, if you live in Pyongyang, your gas has skyrocketed. And a foreign resident told reporters that the price of coupons for purchasing 15 kilograms of petroleum, the standard amount for most buyers at Pyongyang gas stations, had jumped from 12 euros to 22 euros. While North Korean authorities have not commented on any specific reasons for the increase to foreign residents, the explanations appear to be limited. Chinese has cut them off, or DPRK authorities could be diverting fuel for military purposes. Either is possible, or both. Alright, last story. Because I gotta make my way on out of here, kids. Beginning at sunset on Sunday, April 23rd, Israel marked its annual Holocaust Remembrance Day. Imagine an entire nation coming to a complete standstill as people stopped in their tracks for a 2-minute siren that wailed across the country in remembrance of the Holocaust's 6 million Jewish victims. The ritual is the centerpiece of Israel's annual Holocaust Remembrance Day for those who were systematically killed by Nazi Germany and its collaborators during World War II. Pedestrians stood in place, buses stopped on busy streets, cars pulled over on major highways, their drivers standing on the roads with their heads bowed. In homes and businesses, people stopped what they were doing to pay homage to the victims of the Nazi genocide. A wreath-laying ceremony at Yom Vashed Holocaust Memorial followed, with the Israeli leaders and Holocaust survivors in attendance. A public reading of names also took place in Israel's parliament, where Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, among other leaders, recited names of relatives who were killed. Of course, there were ceremonies and prayers and musical performances in schools, community centers, and military bases across the country. This is one of the most solemn days on Israel's calendar. Restaurants, cafes, and places of entertainment shut down. Radio and TV programs are dedicated almost exclusively to documentaries about the Holocaust, interviews with survivors, and somber music. The Israeli flag is also flown at half-staff. Well, folks, on that note, and that is a very somber note, and I could not locate the piece of music I wanted tonight, which was going to be Hatikva. If you don't know, that is the Israeli national anthem. So, we are just going to get on up out of here, and I will see you on the other side. See you again, hopefully, tomorrow. And as always, you can catch me on Twitter at Jessies POV. You can find me at the station on the email, Jessies POV at KLRNRadio. And I will catch you folks tomorrow. I'm out of here!